move to the officer's report. I'd just like to bring the solicitor in.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I would just like to say a few words because it concerns a point of law. As the committee has already heard, the council, both members and officers, have been in receipt of a number of representations regarding this application, some of which have referred to a recent High Court case, a judicial review concerning a decision by Durham County Council, that's what we're open here, to grant planning permission for a solar farm. Now, in that case, and it was the judgment February of this year, the court held that the council had acted unlawfully into and quashed the planning permission, and the reason being that the council failed to take into account a material consideration, namely that it was approving more panels, solar panels, over a larger area than required to reduce the state generating. Following discussions with planning colleagues yesterday, I, as your lawyer, have some concerns that the council, North Yorkshire Council, may currently be at risk of being in a similar situation. I think that the circumstances were analogous to those described in the Durham case. As you've already heard, this application is a facility with a generating capacity of 429.99 megawatts, so it's just below the threshold, which would make it a nationally significant infrastructure project. In order to achieve that generating capacity, how big does it need to be, to put it crudely? The position is complicated by virtue of the fact that over time, the efficiency of solar panels degrades and they produce less electricity, and therefore it's an accepted practice within the PV sector to have something called overplanting, so additional panels beyond that required to generate the stated capacity as compensation for that degradation, which will necessarily take place over time. Sorry, it's very technical, so I haven't explained it properly. Now, in fairness to the applicants, additional information which has been requested has been forthcoming, but the most recent set of she didn't arrive until quite late yesterday afternoon. We discussed it again with planning officer colleagues this morning. What I'm being told is they are not in a position to provide you with a comprehensive, detailed report as to the implications of that late technical information you've received, and therefore my concern about you not having absolutely comprehensive information in front of you remains the same. It's a decision for you. It may be that you wish to defer the application to provide an opportunity for that work to be undertaken and the report brought back to you with the benefits of that. But that is this decision for you, members. Chair, thank you.
Thank you. Comments from members. Councillor Jones, please. Okay. Councillor Mann.
I think it's pretty clear that there's been more technical information that arrived only yesterday. I think we have no choice but to defer this application. We don't want to put ourselves in the situation where we're going to court.
Thank you. Councillor Mann.
Thank you, Chair. I agree with my colleague. I think we do need the right information before we take a decision. We don't want to expose ourselves to an adverse judicial review. I have a question. My question is, at what rate do the solar panels degrade? Is it 10% a year, 5% a year? And what do you think in terms of the current capacity, in terms of the depreciation
in trials, the complications for development duration 50 years. In the Durham case, it was noted that light-induced degradation affects most solar panels, and on average, panels degrade at a rate of up to 1% each year.
Supplementary. Councillor Brown.
Yeah, I think it's clear that we require more information about capacity. There are three possibilities here. One is to say we approve as it is, the other is to say we reject as it is, and the other is to ask for reconsideration of the scale of this to see whether it complies with the requirement to make sure it has under 50 megawatts of capacity. So I back the idea that we ask for a deferment, but I'd ask that we sort that out quickly so everybody knows where they stand. The second point I want to make is that for me, one of the critical issues on all of these is whether the panels are grazed by animals so we get some food production and the growth around them is controlled naturally, or whether we have all these acres sprayed by glyphosate and the equivalent, because that would be incredibly damaging to the environment. So could I ask the officers use the deferment to also look carefully at what conditions and controls, and that's the applicants to work carefully with the officers for that, to work out what conditions and controls we can make to make sure we're not passing spraying of glyphosate over an enormous area for 50 years, but we're passing the managed grazing of areas around solar panels so we are producing some food.
Thank you very much. Members, any more? Oh, Councillor Hugo.
Yeah, I just wanted to support the comments made about grazing by Councillor Brown. I think it's so important that we do look at this.
I was going to look for a motion. Is that? We've got a proposal seconded by Councillor Jones. All those in favour?
Unanimous, Chair.
Thank you very much. We'll just be a couple of minutes while the officers change over for the next application. Members of the public we're only here for that one application. You may leave. The speakers. It's quick. Please, somebody shout or whatever. Thank you very much, ladies. We'll meet again.
Just explaining the process. We're a bit disturbed. Everything had been circulated and saying it's coming back to another meeting.
Oh, right. Yeah. Once we, you know,
Yes,
it
says 5 on there, but it's 4 and 6. 5.
yes.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to start printing. I missed that first speak.
It's because we had that update report going, so it has actually made that. Yes, so it is item 5 now because the update report was 4. Yeah.
That's good. We get that. We'll be waiting for Councillor Jones. Sorry about that.
space, combining using classes B2, B8 and EG. This is not an application, so only access and more amounts are observed. The application is for the redevelopment of the former colliery. All development would be within the former colliery area, with a draining basin line to the north on agricultural land. All technical matters have been resolved and there are no consultation objections. The result of the one-way impact study shows that the proposal would result in a loss of 4.3 flying days at the airfield to the north-west due to changes in flying conditions resulting from the proposal and a condition proposed to ensure reserve matters are not exceeded. So the application is considered acceptable and will have economic benefit. It's recommended to delegate the application to the head of development management for approval with a section 106 agreement and conditions as set out.
Thank you, Linda. We have one speaker. John, when you're ready, please, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Chair, and members of the planning committee. I'm Joe Devil, and I'm the regional head of planning at Harlow. For those of you who don't know Harlow, we're one of the leading land and property regeneration companies in the UK, and we own and manage about 100 sites across the north of England and the Midlands. We're the owners of the Gathburn Wood former mine site, which is a big brownfield site with an unrivaled strategic rail connection. The site presents a fantastic opportunity for employment and generation. The council current local plan policy to support the regeneration of the site, and it is also a draft allocation in Selby's emerging local plan. Our employment forecast for in support of the application show that the site has the potential to create up to 2,200 new jobs in 2020. For the last 2 years, we've worked closely with the council officers on wider technical committees to show how the proposed development can be accommodated on the site. As the planning officer has just outlined, and as outlined in the report, we've put forward a very comprehensive application that covers all the technical issues, and we have no objections from any consultees. Our neighbour, Sheridan Airfield, did raise some issues on our original application, but since then, we've reduced the scheme, both in terms of the amount of development proposed, we've retained the existing road on site and trees, and we've reduced the overall height of the mountain. To help address the points that the area will raise, we've employed leading aviation experts to show how serious we are about getting this development going. This significant amount of work has culminated in no objections being received from the Civil Aviation Authority and no further objections by Sheridan Airfield. Our proposals are an exciting opportunity to deliver regeneration to this brownfield site. We have ongoing inquiries from occupiers who are keen to relocate to this site, and we've been waiting to secure our planning permission before taking those discussions further.
1 minute left.
The officers have provided a very comprehensive report that addresses in detail all material considerations. And should the planning permission be granted today, we're keen to get on. The Section 106 agreement is already signed by Harlow, and this demonstrates our intention to bring this site forward immediately. If planning permission will proceed today, we can hopefully translate some of the occupier inquiries into live interest and be on site next year. If any councillors want to visit any of our similar schemes to see our track record, then please contact me. I hope that members support our proposals today and will work with Harlow to deliver a modern employment-led development. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. Linda, your report, please.
Thank you, Chair. There are some updates to the report and hopefully these have been circulated to members. There's an amendment to paragraphs 1068 and 1076.
Just before Linda carries on, I have circulated these by email this morning, but I have some printed versions in case members have been unable to see that email. So I'll pass those around.
Thank you, Stephen. Linda, could you continue, please?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, there's amendment to the paragraphs of 1068, 1076 and 12.1, set out, the application reads, we received, response from the contaminated land consultant who's advised that the site investigation, site assessment is acceptable and that agrees with the recommendation set out in the report. And so conditions are recommended to cover contaminated issues. With regards to conditions, there's a minor amendment to condition 4 for a plan revision letter, and amendment to condition 22 regarding the reason, which states the first policy SO5 of the North Yorkshire Minerals and Waste Development Plan. And then there are additional conditions for covering contamination, including a site investigation, detailed remediation strategy, verification report, and more effective land contamination. These are all standard conditions which are normally applied. And then finally, following clarification with the applicant overnight, I'm recommending condition 43 just to clarify that the EG office use will be ancillary to B2, B8. Just to set out and just to clarify that point. So I'll just move on to the presentation now. Just to give council the context, I've shown the site of the star. As you can see, the airfield lies to the north, the industrial park actually lies on the other side of the airfield. The sites were located near the A163, the A1 and the A63, that shows them in Elmhurst. This is the application site, red, and the airfield can be seen on the plan. The railway line, Selby to Leeds, runs through the site at the bottom. There's a public right of way which runs to the east of the site, following the boundary, and then goes up the access road to New Mennington Lane. This is the existing site plan. So it's a former colliery site. So there's the access for road leading from the north. The site includes the field to the north, which is currently applicable for use. And then the colliery site itself is reasonably vacant. There's an existing building there and also an existing power plant which would be removed and temporary compounds for network removal. There are landscape funds which were created to screen the colliery from view when it was set up, and they lie to the north and west, and also to the south and south railway line. There has been a previous land application for this site, however, it was much more extensive, both in quantum of development and the red edge. So this is the application 2018 A818 BLA. This was for 2 million square feet of employment space, explains how to bring the field down to the north. This application was refused by Selby District Council, went to appeal and was dismissed. So this application before you today, this is the proposed indicative master plan. So all the built form will be contained within the former colliery site within the funds which are being retained with no change to height or width, dry drainage basin to the north, and the rail connection will be retained through the site to the south. The rail connection is actually safeguarded through policy and to minerals and waste local plan. This is the site plan to the south, showing how the site can be arranged. And access leading down the north. The parameters plan here is also appended as number 2 to the report, and this shows maximum building heights across the site. These have been set out in order to assess and address impacts on the airfield, which lies to the north and northwest. So the lowest building heights, the triangle showing 19 metres above Northern Statum and 22 metres below the star. They lie to the west of the site, where they would have less impact on flying conditions for the airfield. and the maximum heights for the rest of the site are shown. Cross sections, these are just to show you where they've been taken, and then these show the maximum heights for what could be achieved on the site. So the panels are quite considerable in height, as you can see, and it's not proposed that the buildings would be much different in height to that. So the buildings would not only be well screened in wider views, but also from those closer. The landscape actually plan for the site, for which and the points of the plan will be kept through as part of the reserve land for the next application to come forward. They'll be connected to meet the requirements of the strategy plan. Turning to photographs, this is the 1222 Bishop Knight Road, which leads to Shadburn to the north of the site. So this is the main highway route to the site, and the access then can be seen going to the left of the photo, which goes on the New Lennington Lane. Looking across from the B1222, I've shown here, if you could see it, the site behind the landscape ones, the airfield lies in between, and then the buildings on Sherburn Industrial Park. And this is from the Industrial Park access, looking south to the site. In the distance, you can see greenery, and that's the funds for the recovery site. This is a Google extra to go on able to stop the car. This is the site from the west looking east. As you can see, the funds are quite well treated and screened. And then this is looking. I'm travelling around the site in anti-clockwise directions. This is now looking north towards the application site and coming down to the south. Again, you can only see the tree line bumps. Then this is further along and have better view of the existing vegetation. And then this is the bridge that links the north and south part of the application site, which shows the railway line, and then the guidance to the left of the photo, which runs through the site. On the far right of the photo, you can see a rust-coloured building, which is the existing large building on the site. And then there's a public right of way to the east. Again, it's very well vegetated. Then this is New Lennington Lane, and the access to the Hall Road immediately on the left-hand side of the photo, where the red sign is. So that's the transport route to the site, down the existing access road, which again is quite extensive, being the former Hall Road recovery. And then looking across in New Lennington Lane, again, I've identified where the fund is, and also the airfield buildings, so that you can see in context. And then there's the looking from within the airfield, this is runway 1028, which runs in a west-east direction. This is the fund from the north. Oops, sorry, runway. And then hanging round, this is resident fund, and the high drainage basin location is indicated with the arrow. Within the site, this is existing power plant, which would be removed. Existing building, again, this would be removed. Quite an extensive building, as you can see. And this is the fund, we can see the height of it and the vegetation. All using the fund. Then spinning round, this is the southern section of the site. The existing building can be seen behind the yellow vehicle. The railway sidings. And then looking across the side towards the power plant. Thank you, Chair. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Members, questions, and can we stick to questions at this point? No getting into debate, if possible. Councillor Packham.
We can stick to question up to a point, Chair, and I did just want to say that part of this site is in my division, and I was also part of the committee that refused the previous application, which was a much more extensive development. I have come to this to consider this application with an open mind. I've just got a couple of questions in my mind. The first one is, I see there's no comments from Sherburn Town Council. And part of this site is actually within the Sherburn division of the Town Council area. I wondered if they'd actually be consulted.
Just check for you on that, other.
Yeah.
This is-
Supplementary, please.
I have got other questions if I may.
Yeah.
My second one is, I noticed from the consultation responses that the Civil Aviation Authority was not actually doing anything that said they're happy. Are they happy?
There have been extensive discussions with the CAA. Because of the site is not of a size that they needed to be formally consulted. But in order to understand the impacts on the area in the development, their advisory team were able to provide support in order to advise the impacts. They got to a point where the information that was provided was considered sound in terms of methodology, and it was just the robustness of the report which we needed to look at. But they would never actually put forward their role is to guide. They don't actually yeah, that's it. Sorry. It's just like they're just by comment and guidance that don't actually come down specifically with a recommendation of support or refusal, and that's not their remit.
Okay. In my final question then relates to the shuttle bus. I noticed that there is a proposal for a shuttle bus at another 106 agreement. When discussing that shuttle bus, is there an option to also consider whether it could serve existing massive industrial development in this area?
Answer that question. The section 106, which covers the shuttle bus that's provided in section 106, is that the shuttle bus deal with development on site to the south of the railway station and in the Sherburn village. So it covers Southampton, sorry, Sherburn railway station and then Sherburn in our mix as well as a village. So although it's primarily from the site, I'm sure the applicant will be willing to have those discussions to extend that service if there is interest from other areas within Sherburn.
Okay, then what can I then ask that if this is approved and if that goes forward as part of the 106 agreement, the discussions are held with our economic development people in this area and with the businesses on the existing industrial estate who have been looking for various options along these lines for quite a long time. Some of whom are happy to contribute to a wider shuttle bus service. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Swanwick.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I'm trying to sort of interrogate the application, the documents for that to work out how much of this proposal is for B8 development and warehouse and logistics with other business uses, because obviously there's an implication if it's going to be B8 and it's generally sparse and low quality employment, and lots of vehicle movements. Whereas if it's based on what would it suspect was heavily linked to the railway, then the potential there is for more jobs and better jobs.
Thank you. The reserve matters, the extent of B2, B8 use would come forward as part of reserve matters in various phases when the buildings are proposed. I don't know the exact percentage that would be B8, but I do know that the transport assessment has been using B8 as 100% as the worst case scenario. So that has been looked at in terms of highways impact, and the Highways Authority does not have any objection to the proposal. I don't actually have a figure for how much would be proportioned out to various uses, but they would do have clarification on the office use.
Supplementary?
I guess that needs looking at the reserve method maybe, but I just like to flag concern that it's entirely a B8 state. It's a huge area of land, and a lot of warehousing could be on with the implications that that's felt.
I have asked that reserve matters come back to this committee, so we will get another look at it. Councillor Foster.
I'm looking at the previous application, which I know is for a large site. This is 3/4 on a very large site. It's not shown by that. And you know, in fact, says both properties are not appropriate critical in this location. And it's basically our sustainability. So are we, as obviously you are now happy that those sustainability issues are basically it's hard about getting stacked with the cyclone and the big issue. You are now confident with that. And on the local plans, existing and emerging, are we now giving more weight to the emerging of existing?
Okay, if we could just come back on the point about parish councils, we've got to go to that one as well. Yeah, I think from Ross's point of view, the previous site was a mixture of previous development and greenfield development and the site. The greenfield on apart from the drainage provision has been removed from the scheme, and so there's support in terms of the existing local plan in the supplementary information to the policy, which would support redevelopment of the brownfield parts of the previous development plans that are on the site. It does say that it supports reuse of former historic mine, wants to see that connection to the railway structure, which is what we're trying to go through this application. Bearing in mind it's still an outline application, and the users are future users are remembered at this moment in time. The second point that you asked was in terms of the local plan. The emerging local plan analysed has limited weight, so we don't give weight to the emerging local plan at a moment in time. The weight to the existing local plan, that is the development plans, the various plans that make up the cost strategy, the 2005 local plan, and minerals and waste plan that make up the development plan for this area. What the emerging plan does do, and what the emerging policy does do, is show the direction of travel and support that obviously the put forward as part of it for this particular site. So show the direction of travel, but it wouldn't be given weight in an existing plan, it would be given weight in plan policy terms. If I could, does that answer the question?
So in the existing local plan, this guy's approved for development. This current application is on.
Is it not?
This current application is on land that is part of. It is brown, considered brownfield and therefore
It's not quite clearly cut as that, but it is, it's in the site which is, as I said, supported in the local planning terms of the wording, because it's a development site, previously not land. There has seen as being a site that is supported for redevelopment. So that into the area with the previous application for Northern Greenfield land, which was not supported, and it was a significant increase in terms of the land take for the previous application. Can I just come back to Councillor Peckham's question?
Before we move on. So basically, it wasn't an allocated site in the local plan.
It's not allocated in the existing local plan.
Right, that's cool.
It's proposed, obviously, in the emerging local plan.
Thank you. And back to
We come back to Councillor Peckham's question. So I've looked on the system. We did consult three, I'll say parish council, appreciate it's the town council, but we did consult South Milford, Long Price and Sherman Element. We've got responses from South Milford and Long Price.
Okay. Thank you. Councillor Brown. Councillor Mann.
So I just wondered if the report, if the analysis of the application has done a quick calculation, rough calculation, and the number of extra jobs which will be created by the total development. And secondly, what about that in what approximate terms the GDP of the county looks like?
Don't think it's anything specific, but there are going to be employment benefits in the area of the economy. These have been looked at, but potentially 65 full-time equivalent construction jobs per month over 10 years, and that's for the construction phase. With the operational phase, it's a bit of a wide range, because it depends on what actually ends up there in terms of use. But you're looking at maybe between 1,460 or to nearly 4,000 full-time equivalent jobs that could be created as part of the development. I'm not an economist, so I don't know about the funding of that.
I think that if you start with small GDP, very much.
Thank you. Councillor McCann.
Yeah, Selby has quite a language economy, don't they? And most people in Selby locality travel around the district to well-paid jobs in Leeds and Doncaster. What demand is there for low-paid jobs in Selby district? In reality, the majority of people who get a job at this site, that's fortunate. So the quality is what's happened at the two other ex-bits. Palace and power. And we call it that what's happened there. And it isn't the same that happened here. There are lots of those who are living and you've got people who are fortunate, not the so we look at Palace and people.
Don't think it is, but I think it's where the jobs will come from, the type of jobs. It's not something that we can consider at the moment, because at the moment we don't know that the jobs of miles that are going to go onto this site, and what there would be, what their business would be, and what skill sets they require. Yeah, I mean, I expect any employment site will always have a draw for people coming in from the further afield in the immediate area. Reserve matters are coming back to this committee, and I would expect that that's something that could be considered.
That's cool. John, supplementary? A question, not a. Thank you. Can I bring in, I don't know your name. It's from Economic Development.
Hello, Joe Russell, Senior Economic Development Officer. I can probably give a slightly more detail as to your question. Is that helpful, Chair? So this particular site has a slight difference to those other sites you mentioned, because that's strategically rail connection. So it would be reasonable to assume it appeals to slightly different businesses when it comes to reserving of the stage. So we might see a difference there.
Thank you. Councillor McCartney, a question, not a statement, please.
Don't you realise the public power station site and the Kennedy College site all became rail link, and neither have been used in obvious reasons?
That wasn't the question.
I said, don't you realise?
Thank you. Any more questions? No. Any debate? Oh, Councillor Mann.
I'm quite keen that we try and develop a number of jobs in the county, and I think as we put this development, we'll generate between 1,400 and 4,000 jobs. As we know in the county that there's a lot of people who are looking for jobs, that there's a great demand for jobs in the county. And even if some of the jobs get taken up by people in West Yorkshire, I don't think we need to be parochial about this. We just need to increase the number of jobs. We need to stop people leaving, young people in particular, leaving the county to get jobs elsewhere. We need to start solution, if you like, in the creation of jobs so that we can have a vibrant, prosperous economy. I would support this application from that particular point of view. I appreciate it's on 75% of the previous application in terms of size. I would also make the point to colleagues, which I think the officer has made, that the rail network is helpful towards the site in terms of job creation, people moving back and forwards. And secondly, I would say that the road infrastructure on the east side of the banks, we live quite near here, used to drive around there quite a lot. So the road infrastructure is absolutely super. Around Sherburn, the A1 is very close to all sorts of connecting roads to the M1. And it's just the sort of thing I think these employers are looking for in terms of a site being well connected. I don't think it will interfere, the extra traffic generated, I don't think it will interfere with or cause congestion on roads, because a lot of roads around that area, as local members will know, are very rapid. Indeed, you can get from A to B very quickly. So in summary, Chair, I think this is a super application, and I would fully support it being standard.
Thank you. Councillor Brown.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic, isn't it? We need more good quality employment lines in the area, and we need a range of opportunities for different levels of income, different skills. Clearly, we all want more genuine businesses than just warehousing units where not much happens other than robots moving up and down the roads. So I'd ask the developer and the officers to work really hard on making sure that what you bring back to us as a matter stage is a genuine mix of employment, not some Amazon warehouse, kind of other disreputable organisations are available. It's also on a present school site, which we have to be very enthusiastic about. It could not be a more sustainable location in terms of transport. We've got the rail links there, so the opportunities there. The biodiversity plans look good. I think it's one of the best schemes I've seen. However, there is a very big however. Condition 38 is pathetic. Condition 38 says we'll generate 10% of the energy used on site by renewable energy. Not 10%, of what a town on 1,000 would go. 10% of the energy used on site will come from renewable. Now, if you think about the last application you just dealt with, it's almost comical that we would plaster a good quality, agricultural land with solar panels, which, to be honest, I'm in favour of that case. And then when we get brownfield development, we'll say, oh, we won't do much about it. We'll leave it to go onto the agricultural land. We really have to take a different attitude to brownfield sites like this. We really have to make sure they're generating not enough energy to power themselves, but they're contributing. We heard the last time, we power a town side of Northampton. There's no reason why this site can't generate more power than it uses and contribute to the grid. So I'm going to propose that we approve it. We delegate the authority to the officers to approve it, subject to the reserve matters coming back, and subject to a rewording of condition 38. Condition 38 is too detailed at the moment. I'm proposing we take out all the detail so that we delete everything from prior to, so I'm saying we say prior to commencement of each phase of development, and I'm suggesting we then delete all the bits about a scheme to generate 10%. And I'm suggesting we just insert instead a scheme to provide low carbon, decentralized energy, and it has been submitted to and agreed in writing by the local bank. So I'm not trying to be clever and say what that scheme should be. That there's everything from ground source heat pumps available. If we are going to say that the air approach means you can't put solar panels on, you can go down into that open colliery and generate an enormous amount of energy from ground source heat. And for delegating it to the officers and to the developer to get serious about generating alternative sources of energy and come back to us with a matter with something that's completely different scale of ambition to 10%. So I'll repeat that again. I'm suggesting that condition 38 reads, prior to commencement of each phase of development, a scheme to provide low carbon decentralized energy has been submitted to and agreed in writing by the local planning authority. So it's a simpler proposal, leaves the developer and our staff to negotiate what happens. But I'm looking for massively more ambition. So in short, I'm proposing delegating authority to approve, and I'm asking for what comes back of reserve patterns to be thoughtful about what kind of industry and thoughtful about how we generate energy.
Thank you. David, did you put your hand up?
I haven't, but I will.
No, well, I'll add you to the list at the end, but because I didn't know if I'd missed you. Sorry, Councillor Packham, please.
I myself very completely on this application. I've heard some rather amusing comments about how well served Sherwin and Almond is by highway network. Sherwin and Almond is served by country lanes. That's our highway network. You can get to the A1 if you don't have a country lane under the B1222. So to say that we've got a great highway network is surrounding nonsense. I'm sorry to say that, but it is. Having said that, this application needs to be looked at on its own merits. Looking at the highway issues on this, I see from the previous appeal that the inspector did not consider there was a highway issue, and that was a much bigger development. And I think I've got to respect that, because if we looked at highway issues as a refusal reason on this application, we would lose, I'm afraid. So going on from there, this is a much better application for the one we refused. It doesn't take up a load of greenfield land. It uses the existing brownfield site. In my view, it complies with policy. So regrettably, I'm going to have to support it on planning grounds. There is no other way forward for me. It will generate a lot of traffic, I'm quite sure about that. We currently have 10,000 employees on the industrial estate, and we're expecting that to double in the next 10 years. That's about twice the population of Sherwin and Almond. Large proportion of those do commute. So what I would say, and the reason I discussed it earlier, is I really want that shuttle bus to be looked at very carefully. I want that to be discussed with economic development, with existing businesses, because if we can address the issues of transportation to these sites and stop some of the commuting, we'd make a massive difference. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Jones. Done. Hold on. Councillor Swanwick, please.
I just want to hone in on the point that was made by Councillor Brown, because I do agree with the spirit of it's very open contribution. But I actually think that removing the words a minimum of 10%, that's going to be hospital and has a reverse effect from what is being proposed. I would therefore propose an alternative wording which adds the word with an expectation of a greater percentage. So we still need to provide a minimum of 10%, which will be quite a hefty amount of energy in itself. But with an expectation of greater than that is the subject of negotiation, not 10%.
Thank you. Okay. Councillor Hugo, please.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. I just want to, I am supportive of this. It should just, I do think it should be more challenging on the energy renewables. Well, the other thing that would get into that as well would be, got these rail sidings, and I know it's early days, but they don't appear to be getting used. I know I'm sitting on this committee in the county council, there's a lot going on down there. There's a lot of travel plans, there's a lot of stuff being moved around the county. And I do feel that we should be making sure that these rail sidings are not just being preserved, but are being used as well in future. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Mann.
Yeah. Thank you, Chair. I agree with sentiments expressed by colleagues in terms of the need for the development to provide a certain contribution towards energy costs. However, I am mindful of the fact that we need to look at costs. We don't want to make the site too expensive for potential employees to rent houses on this property. I would say that I think we need to be careful about changing the words from a minimum of 10%. Because if you increase it too much, I think that will have a knock-on effect in terms of the rent which businesses are charged for occupying that site. I'm just mindful that energy costs for businesses in this country are already very, very high. I'll just give you a very quick window into that. For example, energy costs per megawatt in this country for employers are £120 per megawatt. In Germany and France, they're half that, at £60 per megawatt. And in the Chinas and the Indians, they're a third of that, at £20 per megawatt, which is probably why, one of the reasons why a lot of heavy industry and business generally are relocating from our country and other similar countries with high energy costs to the east. So getting back to what we're talking about, I'm just mindful that we don't want to increase energy costs too much because it will dissuade employers from setting up their businesses and vastly reduce the number of jobs provided by this site. So I do think we need to be careful before we move away from the current wording. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Councillor McCarthy, please.
Yes, I actually find this application quite impressive. We have, this is the third major ex-power site development and redevelopment. The other two being next Kelly Pit side and the power stations. I thought that with my ward. The power station side, so a national infrastructure plan application for the gas power station, which I thought would be banned, but they're building it now. They've also got a infrastructure with some really nice jobs on a data storage. I don't understand what it is, and actually might able to explain. I still don't understand what it is. But anyway, the rest of it is storage and distribution. And the same thing has happened at Kelly and Cosby. Again, storage and distribution, massive warehousing and HTV. And sadly, that's what's going to happen on this side. I find the book impressive because it does not listen. We do not need more low-skilled, low-paid jobs in Selby County. More well-paid jobs for young people who who are now travelling out and are leaving the county because they can't get the work that they jobs. And we've got this fairly high economy, wage economy in the southern district, and we're not taking this big, huge stand, which would have great opportunity. The rail industry is kept, and we'll say it's kept. It won't be used, it's not used on the original side. Very difficult to imagine what sort of company would use the rail. And when we've spoken to the people who own Kelvin side, the David side, they said there's no interest. There's no interest in it. The Kelvin side, when they go in planning, of course, they make lots of the same company. When they go with planning application, oh yes, we're using the canal and we're using the rail, it's sort of what. So I just think we can really decide to be wasted. How many other sites have been mentioned? Be better for solar panels as anything. This instead of using green materials. That is times more in line, more in line to see mixed development. You've got houses on next to big sites. All of Yorkshire is big sites with houses. And what we're doing is we're building houses on greenfield sites. And then giving it boundaries. Or we can be putting houses. I can find it really impressive. This is the third major site, and then there's the waste. And that is mandatory. Planning is certainly inviting. I think it's good.
Thank you. Councillor Goldwell, please.
I just wanted to second Councillor Sonic's amendment to the proposal with regard to the wording on condition 38. I think this is a sensible approach. It echoes the ambition I'm hearing and also the possible opportunity on the site.
Thank you. Councillor Brown.
But to note, just extend that the wording or that kind of wording in my proposal, if one of those two people was second. The other thing I'd say, please, if there are any pressing the room, do not report this further. Just that issue of that cost for companies, if we put the energy generation schemes in, might make a bit of difference to the rentals because you've got to put the capital cost of the ranking. But it'll make a massive difference to the running cost. Yeah, so you'll get a revenue saving for a capital investment. And I really would urge for the local developer. And we did something similar with a scheme in Settle in the Raven Bank, where we proposed putting solar panels on the roof. And the developer advertised it as sustainable industrial development and got more business as a result of the change than it would have done from just bog standard. You can go, because businesses are looking for something a bit different. So I would ask the developer and our officers are more ambitious than some of what I've heard outside the meeting of as an airport to the government. So
thank you. We've got a proposal and seconded Councillor Swanwick's amendment. If there's no more debate, go to the vote. Before we go to the vote, has everybody, have you got the amendment down? No? Councillor De Boer.
Exactly what I'm going to ask you. Can we just come with one to repeat exactly the wording of the end?
We've got it on the transcript apparently, so we're all right. So if everybody's happy, we've got proposal and a seconded amendment and application. All those in favour? Can we read out the amendment, please? Councillor Swanwick, can you remember what you said?
Yes, I can. So, if the first sentence of that paragraph 38 being conditioned would now be prior to commencement of each phase of development, a scheme to demonstrate at a minimum of 10%, but with an expectation of a higher percentage. Total and predicted energy requirements of the development of these from renewable power, etc.
Is that right? Yeah. It's not dilution anymore, it's in the. Yep. Everybody happy with that? Oh, Rod?
Yeah, I think that's the best suggestion.
Thank you very much. All those in favour?
Oh, but two, Chair, so 12.
Well, the amendment's carried.
It is.
We need a motion second for the application now. That was it.
All we've done there is agree to amend
Right. Yeah.
condition 38, Chair.
So I need a proposer and a seconder. Seconded. All those in favour?
That's carried, but all but one, Chair.
Yeah, we figured that one. Thank you. We'll just wait for Councillor Brown to pop back. You got all that down? Yes.
But it is on the transcript.
All right.
Can you hear me there?
Can you hear me?
I can, yes, thank you.
Let me just check that we can hear you. Can you speak up just a little bit, please?
Okay, no problem. Is that a bit better?
Can everybody hear that? It is fairly quiet. Let me just check out. Try now.
How's that then? Can you hear me all right?
Just the same. Just the same, unfortunately.
Just the same. Okay, let me just see if I can yeah, my microphone appears to be operating absolutely fine at this end.
Let me try this. Try speaking now.
Okay, how's that then? Can you hear me all right? Should I talk up quite, if I sort of shout a little bit more, is that better?
You can't hear it. Oh. It is very difficult, unfortunately, to hear.
Okay, is that any better if I do that? Or I could let me just see if a headset makes any difference.
Yeah.
Hello.
Can everybody hear that? Is that okay if I hold the microphone there?
Okay, can you? Is that any better now?
It's a little tinny, but I think if you speak slowly and we give you the chance to speak slowly and
Okay.
as loud as possible, we'll probably be able to make that out. Thanks.
All right, no problem. Let me know when to.
Okay, will do. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Right. Agenda item number 6. Martin.
Thank you, Chair. This is application 2022-1160-X73. It's a section 73 application to remove condition 1, 10% approval 2019 00 and that original application for a change of use plan of 50 and travel pictures. That was friends with 12 June 2020.
Thank you. Brilliant. Mr. Ruston. You've got 3 minutes ish.
Thank you. Right. So if you can't hear me, please do just say. But good morning and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak in support of this application, and particular thanks for making a virtual facility available as I am some distance away from you today. So I will try and keep my comments fairly brief. What I would say to you is that this application represents a golden opportunity for the council to make progress in the provision of gypsy and traveller accommodation. The officer's report picks up all the key points, but I would draw particular attention to the following. First of all, the site is previously developed land. Whilst it is in the green belt, this is not a site that was once green before it became a traveller site. Secondly, there have been no objections to this application or to the previous consultation in the local plan. Indeed, there are a number of letters of support. As someone who has taken traveller cases all over the country, this is fairly unusual. What it demonstrates is that the site is operating without issue and is an established part of the local community. The next point is that the need is more than it was thought to be. Recent appeal decision letters have found the level of need for pitches is significantly higher than previously thought, and this represents a significant challenge for any local planning authority. Finally, I would also add that there's been 30 years of government policy requiring councils to allocate land in the local plan for gypsy and traveller sites. This is something that the former District of Selby was unable to do. By voting for the officer's recommendation today, this goes some way to addressing this long-standing and historic failure of policy. For these reasons, and those set out in the officer's report, I would ask the committee to accept the recommendation. Thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Could you possibly... Oh, he's done it. Yeah, muted himself. Thank you very much. Martin, your report, please.
Chair, there's one minor amendment to the recommendation, and it's that with regards to the 2024 direction rather than the 2021 direction. So I ask that members consider a vote on that today, please. Presentation is short and sweet. This is the nature of the application. First slide is the site location plan from the original 2019 application, site outlined in red, outline owned by the applicant outlined in blue. This is the original approved layout showing various pictures laid above. Static caravan, touring caravan, and data side of things on each page. So the Google image, slide from above. These are the two photographs of the site from the street. Obviously, it's already in place. That's the end of the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Members, any questions for the officer? Councillor Packham, please.
Yes, so, I noticed that the previous, the field decision was for a temporary consent, and that was then effectively reviewed as a temporary consent, as I read it. That's quite unusual, isn't it, to just giving temporary consents?
Yes, the report, the officer report, the 2019 application refers to that in detail, saying that it is unusual. Government policy suggests that we should only do that in exceptional circumstances, but we felt that to do at that time. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Any debate? Oh, Councillor Mann, one second. Question?
Just in terms of the need, I just wondered, obviously, I'm representing the need for these pictures now, I think was probably very passing in. I just wondered if you could quantify that need. There's 12 units of accommodation was moving forward 12 for employees. So I'm seeing that, is that lower than just continuing to don't want to say.
Yeah, I think I understand the question. If I can refer members to page 96 of the agenda, start at paragraph 10.18. This section discusses the 5-year supply of gypsy and traveller pictures, and as part of that, we look at need. The discussion on this point is quite lengthy because of the various field decisions, and it's quite a complicated matter in itself to discuss. Perhaps the most important consideration here is paragraph 10.23, and in here we quote a recent field decision for citing Burton Salmon. There's been a stance was taken by Selby District Council as it was, that the need was roughly 21, was for 21 pictures. Now, the inspector disagreed with that, considered that it's likely to be significantly more, various reasons that are written in this section. So yeah, we don't have a precise figure as to what the need is. We potentially need to do a new gypsy and traveller accommodation assessment to know precisely what the need is, because things have moved on since the 2018 ETAA was produced. But the need certainly in excess of 21 pages. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions? Councillor Packham, we're in debate.
Yet again, this is in my division. So this is a long-established travel site. It's had 2 temporary consents, and as we've already discussed, that's quite unusual. I can think of absolutely no reason why we shouldn't simply give it a planning permission. It's a well-run site, it's tidy, it's nice, it's a good site. It meets a demand which exists, which is not being met elsewhere. So I can think of absolutely no reason whatsoever why we should just give this a consent. Yeah.
Thank you. Councillor McCartney.
Yeah, agree with Bob. Selby Council absolutely failed in their town on travelling gypsies decade. This should have been regularised mission years ago. So I move that we have to approve this today.
Thank you. Councillor Jones.
Yeah, well, I have a pattern. I'm slightly concerned when we are working on data that is nearly 10 years old. We are working on plan 2018. So I do think updating that needs to be quite an urgent thing to be raised by us. Not working, it's nearly 10 years old if the needs change quite significantly.
Yeah, councillor Mann.
Chair, I agree with the colleagues. I think we do need this site across the county there as a slight burden of accommodation for travellers. And although the I accept what we can data is dated, nonetheless, I agree with the colleagues. I think this chair should put the resolution which has been proposed.
Thank you. Anybody else? Fantastic. We've got a proposal by councillor Downey, a seconder. Everybody? Yeah, if you pick somebody.
Yeah.
All those in favour?
Unanimous, Chair.
Thank you very much. Item 7 is any other business of chairman's. I have nothing. Thank you very much, everybody. Safe journey home.
Thanks, Chair.
Yeah. Got a red light, yeah. It's the other one that said,